Why grooming is political BS on today's Modern Day Leper with Ahmad Blakemore. Hello, Leper fans. How are you? And welcome back to another edition of Modern Day Leper with Ahmad Blakemore. So today we're dealing with a word that has negative connotations today, and both sides of the political aisle are playing with this word, jousting for power. And guess what? The whole meaning of the word has been changed from its original meaning as it used to be when I was a child. The word is groomer. Groomer. What exactly is a groomer? See, when I was a little boy, groomer was a great word. It was a word that meant positive things. It was a word that meant powerful things. It was a word that meant special attention in a positive way. The first time I heard the term used, I think it was the Jackson 5 that used the word. And I remember Jackie Jackson saying, "We were groomed from a very young age to be performers. Our father groomed us to be the best. Our father groomed us to be the best." Remember all these positive groups that used to be around, like the Boy Scouts and the Cub Scouts and the Girl Scouts and the YMCA? What happened to those groups? Big brothers, big sisters that took the time out for young people and taught them positive things. What happened to those groups? Some of them don't even exist anymore. A lot of them have fallen by the wayside. Why? Because definitions get changed. People's ideas of what a groomer is has been changed from its original form to now a negative connotation. And I told you guys before, 3 reasons a sex offenders were created. Stop bullying sex offenders. Remember that? We were talking about how politicians bully sex offenders and how politicians are the primary users of sex offenders. And let me tell you how they do that. So how are politicians able to do this? How are politicians able to change the meaning of a word from a positive to a negative? How does it happen? It happens very subtly. So I'm going to read you the original definition of the word groomer as it was used when I was a little boy. Listen closely to this meaning of what groomer is. A groomer is someone who builds a relationship, trust, and emotional connection with a child or young person so that they can cultivate talent, to bring out the best, to guarantee success. Wow, that sounds nothing like the way groomer is used today. Not at all. So what has happened is the politician has manipulated the word's meaning and changed it. Look at all the great people in corporate America who have groomers. Look at all the people in sports that have groomers. What would Mike Tyson be without the great Cus D'Amato on his team? Chadwick Boseman talked about Denzel Washington's contributions to his career. What if you wanted to be a motivational speaker and you had the ability to be taught by Tony Robbins or Les Brown? What would that do for your career if you could be around these people personally? as your personal groomers, your personal mentors, your personal coaches. We're buying a bad bill of goods by allowing politicians to tell us what the meaning of the word is when we already know what the meaning of the word is. We know what it means to be groomed for something positive. The first time someone used the word groomer or groomed with me, it was my stepfather who owned some restaurants. And he came to me, he said, "Ahmad, I'm going to groom you to take over the day-to-day operations of the restaurant." I was 18 years old and I felt like $1 million because he believed in me. He knew that I was ambitious and smart and intelligent. I remember as a child, my sister and I were being groomed for more advanced classes. So those kids that were in elementary school were taking middle school courses, and those kids in middle school were taking high school courses, and high school courses were students were taking college courses. It was called Upward Bound. And they would seek children that they thought were smart and intelligent and who had that extra intellect to put in the Upward Bound program. And my sister and I were selected, and they were grooming us to take the higher courses. We felt very, very special because of it. And now the word groomer means something bad, something terrible, something malicious, out of the mind of adults against children. This dark energy that they bring because they need marginalized people to help their careers. And so they start out, as I told you before, looking for marginalized people. And who do they come to? The sex offender class, and call them groomers. And now the LGBT community are all now referred to as groomers. Is it true? No, it's slander. But the politicians don't care because they need a win. They need a catchphrase. So it's OK Groomer if you don't agree with them when it comes to the education of children. If you disagree with the platform that they're pushing, you're a groomer. Because it's nice and it's handy and it sounds good. OK Groomer. Yeah, it's nice, it's concise, it gets to the point, it puts something in your head, and it's catchy, and it's fun to play with when you want to slander people, and it'll get the job done. They're having great success with it. Is it true? No, but that's not important, because I told you before, they just want the power. They just want the office. So I'm going to read to you now what the new definition of groomer is, and watch and see how close it is to the original definition of groomer. A groomer is someone who builds a relationship, trust, and emotional connection with a child or young person so that they can manipulate, exploit, and abuse them. So do you see how close these definitions are? All they did was change the last part of it so that they can. And they took the intent from something positive to something negative. And it's done very subtle. And so anyone can be a positive groomer and anyone can be a negative groomer. But I had never heard the word groomer as a negative when I was a kid. Never. It was not used that way. There were no negative connotations of the word groomer. Everybody wanted to find a coach. Everybody wanted to be groomed by somebody better. If you were a dancer and some guy said, hey, man, I want to groom you to be one of the best dancers in the business, you were like, yeah. You want to sing? Yeah. Hey, man, we can groom you to be the best. Man, we love that. What we have to do is separate the intent of people from words, because there's always bad people. There's always bad people that can take something bad and make it good. And there's always people who can take something good and make it bad. And I told you from day one on this channel how people feel about sex offenders, how they always see us in a negative light, and how politicians love us because we boost their careers. When they have a zero platform, they can always depend on the sex offender community to be there for them. And that's what this is about right now. That's what this is about. Changing the meaning of the words so that they can attack the LGBT community. If you're a gay person, that's your business. If you don't like gay people, that's your business. If you like gay people, that's your business. But why do you have to negatively attack someone? Why do you make accusations that aren't true? This is what happens when people have no platform. If you have a platform, you state what the platform is. If you don't have a platform, then you have to do all the fanfare and joke making and accusations and personal attacks to make up for the substance you don't have. This word groomer has been around now. It's a totally negative word. And it always talks about the emotional thing that people are always leery of, the safety of their children. And they take this word and they hold it up in front of your children and say, people are grooming you. You're going to be groomed for danger. Well, let me ask you a question, general public. How come the groomer has more power than the parents? Where are the parents while these groomers are doing all this grooming? Where are the parents? Sleep, gone, not home, don't care, tapped out of state, high, drunk? Where are the parents? How in the world are these groomers doing all this grooming? Where is it coming from? Who's coming up with all this foolishness? Because the way I see it, it sounds like a bunch of excuse making. That's all this is. It's just a bunch of excuse making. Somebody is going to do something to my child. Well, then be a parent. Because parenting is the number one defense of anybody doing anything to your children. Being a parent. These LGBT communities and the pedophiles and sex offenders that everybody wants to put down do not have superpowers. They're regular people with their own problems. They don't have superpowers. What do? Hypnotize the parents and the parents just hand the children over to them? Let's stop making excuses and start being parents. And you don't have to worry about this groomer situation. But keep your eyes and ears open, because I told you guys this was coming. This is how they operate. Anytime this stuff happens during an election cycle, this is what happens. They always come for marginalized people during an election cycle. Always. They're looking forward to next year, 2024, and they're going to start with everything they got, and they're going to start with every marginalized group that they can find. LGBT, the sex offender community, all of the felons, homeless people, drug addicts, and everybody else that they can scare the general public with. But since they've got all these ballot issues about children and what they can learn and who can teach it to them and who they can communicate with, they got the LGBT issue going now. Don't be fooled by this. After the election is over, this stuff will go away, right back in the woodwork where it came out of. Don't be fooled. I know what a groomer is. I've had groomers around me all my life, and they were very positive people. And if you listen to this program and you follow this show, you know that I am a groomer for the positive. I want to groom to be better, to learn more, to know the law, to know what our rights are, where we can live, how to be strong, how to be community. Am I a groomer? You darn right I am. I want us to be the very best we can be and stop letting people use this negative stuff on us. Turn it back on them. My name is Ahmad Blakemore. I am the modern day leper, and I appreciate you listening. And remember, we will go from the margins to center stage. Remember who you are in God's eyes, because that's the important part. Have a great one, and I will see you on the next one. Bye-bye.